Hey everyone, I'm Will.
And I'm Caleb.
Welcome to the Retrek Review Podcast, a podcast where we talk about every single episode of Star Trek chronologically. But here's the best part. Caleb hasn't seen a single episode.
What is Star Trek? Is it like Star Wars? I've seen Star Wars.
So don't click off this video, because if you do, you won't see Caleb's unique view of what the episode we're about to watch is.
I hated it.
You heard it here. Computer, begin program.
Increase to full power!
Gives me the creeps. I feel like something's watching us.
Savick, you go right on quoting regulations.
Hello, computer.
I knew I would.
You betrayed your uniform!
Target their cargo hold. Time to take out the garbage.
Smooth as an android's bottom, eh, Data?
I beg your pardon, sir.
Aspires to be better than I
Come on. It's gonna be fun.
5 years in space. God help me.
This is the best day of my life!
A phaser? You didn't use it? Swords are fun.
Program complete. Enter when ready.
Welcome back to another Retrek Review, where each week we talk about Star Trek, and this week we're talking about episode 11 of Star Trek The Next Generation, and that episode is entitled Haven. It originally aired November 30th, 1987. It was a teleplay by Tracy Torme, and a story by Tracy Torme and Lon O'Koon. It was directed by Richard Compton. The synopsis for Haven was: tensions mount as Counselor Troy's arranged marriage nears, and her mother takes a liking to Captain Picard. Meanwhile, a plague ship threatens the planet where they are meeting. We also have guest stars for this episode, and that is, start with Majel Barrett as Lexwana Troy, a name we've heard many a times.
Mm.
Do you remember Majel Barrett?
Oh, she's Chapel, right? No.
Yeah, so she's number one from The Cage, and she's Chapel in the original series.
Isn't
Also,
that Roddenberry's wife? Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
It's all coming together. Robert Nepper as Wyatt Miller.
Yeah, so I recognized him immediately.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap, he's young in this show. Obviously, this was in the 80s. I
Yeah.
even showed McKenna because McKenna likes that show Prison Break,
Oh, okay.
and he was one of the inmates in that show, like
okay.
a really prominent one. Yeah.
Gotcha. I only remember him he's like from season 2 or 3 of like Heroes, where he's like in charge of like the
Oh.
circus.
That's funny.
But yeah.
Yeah, he plays like the southern creep guy in
Gotcha.
Prison Break.
That's funny.
It's pretty funny.
He plays like the complete opposite in this.
Oh yeah, he doesn't walk around lovingly holding his artwork in that show.
No, I can't imagine. Non Martin as Victoria Miller. We have Robert Ellenstein, which is the president from Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. He's like the guy with the beard and the bald.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
Yeah. Then we have Carol Strukin. I'm gonna fail to say his last
Oh
name.
yeah, I don't know his last name.
But that's
Lurch himself.
Yeah, Lurch. Yeah, Mr. Home.
And the
And
tall
the guy-
man from
Yeah.
Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like the rando, like alien ambassador that gets killed in Men in Black at the table.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's good. He's good. Anytime you need a really tall guy,
Yeah. Then Anna Katerina as Valeda Innes, Ray Burke as Ren, Danica Kingsley as Ariana, and Michael Ryder as Transport Chief.
nice.
So that was the introduction. So let's go over to Caleb and ask Caleb what he thought of the episode.
I don't think this is like a terrible episode. Troy's mom is pretty awful, I will say. It's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
It's cool though, like seeing a character who had previously played like Chapel
Mm-hmm.
be completely different than Chapel,
Yeah, like
which is kind of
wildly
cool.
different, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's cool that she got to kind of make the switch. I enjoy all that, but she's a pretty bad character. Like as far as like a character goes, she's
Right.
pretty annoying, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get this show sometimes where it's like every new female character that comes on is like a sex symbol of the
Mm-hmm.
80s,
Yeah.
but they're like not, you know?
Yeah. If they weren't so heavy-handed with the Tasha stuff and a
Yeah.
couple other little things, like her coming on and being so overt, I don't think it would be as like eye rolly because you would just be like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, here, oh, like, oh, this is kind of played more for laughs, but like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like it's been so much that you get kind of burnt out on it.
Yeah, I think so. I think the the thing at the very end when she's like, "Oh, Picard," and she says, she's joking," and he's like, "I don't find it amusing." I was like, I like so that's fine. But her like every time, every opportunity to be like, "Oh, did you know Wyatt's father thinks about me naked all the time?" Like, okay. Yeah, even right now, he's eating his salad, but he's thinking about me naked at the ceremony tomorrow. Like, okay, cool. But yeah, so I don't hate this episode. It's in kind of an interesting thing with the whatever aliens at the end. I can't even remember what they're called.
Terrellian or something.
Yeah, I think their ship is cool.
Yeah, the thing that I will say about this episode, I like I could take it or leave it. Like it's great, to see like the introduction of her character and like as you've already put together, since it's Roddenberry's wife, like this isn't the only time we're going to see her.
No.
And the thing that I like about it, it's a departure of what we've been watching. It's
Yeah.
not like somebody's trying to kill somebody or aliens. It's just like a diplomatic thing, and it's just a member of the crew is being like forced into a wedding that they agreed to a long time ago. It's just like very inner ship conflict stuff, which
Yeah.
works out well.
Yeah, it's human stuff on a spaceship, which is
Right.
fun, you know.
Right.
It's always when they go to like shore leave stuff happens, you know.
Yeah.
It's always kind of a cop out to me. They did this in Enterprise too,
Mm.
where it's like, oh, I have to get married and leave the ship forever. And they're like, oh no. But then you realize that it's a main character and they're not leaving the ship forever. So
No. Right. Like, oh, that's
so
right.
it's kind of like all this like set up for, you know, nothing really.
Really,
Because
right.
it's like Riker, he's stoic, he's sitting on a rock, you know.
Yeah.
But like I, as the audience, know that she's not going to leave the ship, you know.
Right.
So it's just one of those things, I guess. I don't know.
I hear you. No, I hear you.
So yeah, obviously you have to have stories and stuff, but it's like it's hard to sell me on a storyline when it's like I know that a main cast member is not going to actually be gone at the end of the episode. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that's why stuff, honestly, like I hate it because I really like Hammer and he's a really cool character, like for the first time.
Oh yeah.
But they're just like, oh yeah, he's dead. It's like, holy shit. Like that never happens, you know?
Yeah. True.
And it's like, well, you know, it sucked because like he was a cool character and
Yeah,
They really could have done a lot with his character.
I agree.
One of the first like really cool like alien species that like actually intrigued me of like how did he join the Federation? How did they come to an arrangement?
Right,
You know,
right.
because he's supposed
Yeah,
to be like super like neutral about stuff.
right.
Like, well, we don't really want to answer that, so there's a going baby in him, and he jumped off a bridge. Like, great,
Great.
that's great,
Super.
cool. Well, carry on.
So, what would you rank the episode?
I feel like every episode this season has either been a Roddenberry or it's been like a one Akuda.
Yeah, pretty. Yeah.
And I don't think it's breaking any new form for me, so I'll say one Akuda.
Ooh, nice. Well, I know you
Yeah.
never know. You never know. There's been a Kaplan. There's been I think I want to say there's been two
Oh,
years.
yeah,
So
there's been a Kaplan for sure.
so yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
It's
There will,
fine.
there will be a look back at the end of the season, as there
I
always.
am waiting for the season where they're all three Akudas. That's what I'm waiting for.
All three. Oh yeah, it's coming. Just hold on. Just hold on.
Yeah. From what I hear, it doesn't get good until Riker grows his beard, and from what I also hear, he doesn't grow it till season 4.
I will say nothing.
I'll never tell.
Well, before we move on to comments and subscribers, it's time to honor our first Patreon member.
Woo!
Hmm. Ed Mark Starr. We appreciate you selecting a tier and help supporting the channel. Well, we look forward to making it worth your while. So if you want fun, cool things that Ed's going to get, just go over to our Patreon. You pick a tier that best fits your wants and desires, and you can also support the channel like he is. So.
Yeah. I haven't slept since he's joined Patreon. That's all I've been doing is coming up with giveaways and rewards. Yep.
And for our latest subscriber on YouTube, we have Sam Higdon. So thanks
Ooh.
for subscribing, Sam. We appreciate it.
Where do you go, Sam?
For subscribing, Warrior.
Kapla.
And then we have some comments. So from our Justice video, we had a comment from Captain Olimar. Captain Olimar says, PDA planet. Loved seeing the Wesley clip from the top rope.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
He really destroyed that new plant and he didn't give a damn.
No.
But
he was fine, though.
Yeah, he says, I don't believe Wesley was sorry at all. He only cares about how cool he looked.
He looked pretty freaking cool, too. So
Picard is at fault here. He sent him on the sex planet to see if it was okay for children. The most obvious wingman is a 15-year-old Wesley.
Absolutely.
Gene was pushing the bounds with this one, and the God Orb / plot was straight out of TOS.
Oh, yeah.
It's cringe. Thanks for the episode, as always. Then Captain Alimar commented on our battle podcast. He says, the Picard maneuver. He says, the Ferengi, my favorite aliens. Not the worst one this time. I rather liked the episode. Picard sounds right in this one, and it develops his character. Will is right that Picard's charisma and the Ferengi are miles better than their behavior and mannerisms. I like the Ferengi first officer and the Riker dynamic. And then he said to me, I think we recorded this. but I must have edited it out. He says, Will should know what the real Picard maneuver is. It's them pulling down their shirts when they stand up. LOL.
Yeah.
But I think I
You
talked
did
about it.
you did talk about it, yeah.
Yeah, must have edited it out. He says, Oh, Wesley, I don't loathe you, but you ain't the best part of the show. Sorry, not sorry. Thanks for the
Yeah, I'm
review as
sure
always, guys.
Will Wheaton is really hurt by that.
And then we have from our latest one, Hide and Q. Ed Star says the all-powerful alien whose mischievous pranks can help or hurt given circumstances. Q is a cliche character and represents lazy storytelling, in my opinion. The popularity of Q among Star Trek fans reveals just how out of step I am with the fandom. The Squire of Gothos, by any other name, still plays out the same to me. Hide and Q keeps reminding me that some TNG episodes are just standard television fare covered by a colorful sci-fi candy shell. Just my opinion. Hope we're still friends.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I thought you would
I
appreciate
do
it.
not enjoy the Q character at all. It's just, and I know because last episode we were talking about, like last episode was specifically written by Roddenberry.
Yes.
It's just too TOS for what they're trying to do now.
I agree.
His character was already kind of annoying in the first time we meet Q,
Yeah.
but then to like write him in a way where he does a complete 180.
Mhm.
Now he's like this omnipotent, like a just annoying child. It's like we've done this, Roddenberry. We've done it so many times. The idea of him being like this all-powerful, like alien species that's like we're gonna observe humanity and see, if you're evolving or if you're the same barbaric idiots that
Yeah.
you've been.
Right.
And to have him come, have the Enterprise come up with like tests to see like what they choose is an interesting concept. But then to have him take that and be like, "Oh, I'm taking you all to this planet. And we're gonna play this game, and it's all for fun, and it doesn't
Right.
matter." It's like I don't. That's just stupid. It's completely different. Well, we've talked about it. Watch that episode. Go watch the episode.
Yeah.
I do not like Roddenberry Q.
Fair enough.
I
Well,
say get him and his wife off the show. Off the show. God.
Well, here's the thing. We had another comment from Captain Elimar on Hide and Q, and he said Napoleon Pigman Bayonet's Worf
Jeez.
had a great time this week. Delancey, Patrick, and Frakes are all doing a great job this week. I believe I'm like Will in my knowledge of Q elevates the episode, but he's more or less correct that this is how he acts from now on.
Good.
Gene must have insisted that all the planets in Next Gen look straight out of the 60s, foam rocks, and green screen skies. Only 10 seconds of cringe when Worf yells, "This is sex!" And Geordi looks at Tasha.
Oh my god.
And then he does.
Oh, there's a long pause on Geordi looking too. I remember that being very like weird.
Oh yeah. And then he wanted to put this here for us. Also, remember that the child is still dead. Thanks for the review as always.
That's the thing about Star Trek that you'll come to find out is the child is always dead.
Well, now it's time to get into the review. So, did you find the Riker music scene like super weird and funny?
Yeah,
He's like in his quarters and he's like these ladies are
it's really
playing like
weird.
instruments.
Uh-huh.
Then he's like, "Sorry, ladies." And then, like,
He's so it's really bad.
oh man, made me laugh.
He goes from that scene like all smug and kind of like,
Mhm.
cocky, and like they're trying to make him suave, but he doesn't really come across as suave.
Right, right.
And then he immediately gets like pouty,
Immediately.
immediately pouty when she's like, "Oh yeah, so I'm getting married," and he's like,
What?
and he like storms out, and it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
well, at least you can go back to your quarters and watch the ladies play those instruments. Like, what are you talking?
But the thing that I think just takes the cake for me.
The silver box?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That thing. That
really
thing was
great.
absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, no, that's straight out of Alice in Wonderland right there.
Oh. I have a message for Deanna Troy.
Joy and excitement. Use these rubies. And then he's gone and is like, wow, that ended not a moment too soon. That was horrific.
It was really, I get it, and it's fine. I applaud them for trying to do something outside of the box and like trying to make something like Alien. I like,
Yeah, but
thank you, but
it
that
was a
was
man inside a box.
yeah.
I also cannot see stuff like that and not think immediately of Jim Carrey coming out of the rhinoceros. So,
Okay.
so
You know what I immediately think
yeah,
is Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse, where like things have faces on them.
yeah,
But yeah, Ace Ventura
it's all
2, where
bad.
he's shoving his face out the rhino butt. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, that's what I think of.
Yeah, then we come back from the intro, and here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
We get the family,
Mm,
then we get the famous Majel Barrett. Did you know, like, immediately when she beams aboard that you were going to be like, oh boy, there we go?
yeah, I knew as soon as it was her mother.
Oh, okay.
She's like, "Yeah, it's my mother." And I was like, "Well, this will be terrible."
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Especially because like Wyatt's mother is like, "Oh, yeah,
Oh,
she's insufferable," and he's like, "Okay,
yeah, I agree.
yeah,
But I did think that heavy luggage bit was pretty good.
that's pretty good." Yeah,
That made me laugh. He's just like,
right this way.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Picard's great in this episode.
Yeah.
I enjoy seeing this side of Picard,
Yeah, it's nice.
because like honestly, he should just be like, "Nah, I don't really give a crap that you're on board." Like do whatever. I'm not doing any of this. Isn't that why you brought a 40-foot tall guy to carry your luggage? I'm not carrying your luggage. But he's trying to go above and beyond.
Well, as he brings
pretty
out in
good.
that scene, he's like, I owe a lot to counselor, so like I'll obviously kind of bend over backwards for the mother of this officer that I really appreciate. I gotta show you this funny thing because it's in this section. I'm trying to think how I'd explain it. You get it, but I'm trying to think how I explain it to everybody else. Basically, I'll just put it this way. My cousin and I do like a calendar exchange at the beginning of the year, and he knows that I like Star Trek stuff. So this year, he got me a Star Trek cat calendar,
Oh God.
and it's scenes from Star Trek, like all forms of Star Trek,
Yeah.
but with cats.
That sounds
And,
great.
and here was last month's calendar.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
The thing I like about it is that the darker cat being Luxana is like older. You can tell it's like an older cat.
Yeah.
And then the two people who are bald in the show are like skinless cats. And I enjoy that like Mr. Ohm is just standing there in the background.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty great.
It is pretty good, yeah.
It's painfully well thought out, and
It is, yeah. It's
yeah.
too much. Too much time and energy.
So the internet will get
That's
to enjoy that.
that's really good.
Yeah. So we end that part, and the only thing I had that I thought was worth talking about was again Picard in the quarters, and he's like trying to leave. He was like, "Well, I sure you want to get to talking," and they're like, "Oh, that's okay," and he's like, "Yes, well." She's like, "Yes, Captain, you may leave," and he's like, "Thank you," and he like backs out, and like the doors close.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah,
I don't know why he thought he had to wait to be like dismissed, you know?
it was funny too because I was thinking like, what would Kirk do in this situation? Like, would they have written him to be do the same kind of stuff where he's just kind of
Mm, probably. But by the middle of the episode, he would have been so over her.
that's true.
Like during the dinner scene, Kirk would have probably, done what Deanna did, basically. Like, all right, shut up.
Well, that's the halfway point. So go down to the comment section and write continue the petty bickering. I like it. Yeah, which
Oh, that
brings
was
us
pretty funny.
nicely into our third commercial break. Yeah, just Data walking around that room
It was really good.
was great, and you could tell he was just trying to absorb as much as possible. And just them cutting to like Mr. And like he's
Oh, dude.
drinking, and he was like,
Everything,
yeah.
everything about this scene is pretty good.
He's like, "Do you have like human in you or something?" And he's just like, "Oh." He doesn't even say anything. He just yeah, exactly.
Like, wow. And he's like very like visibly becoming like drunk,
Yeah,
basically. He's like,
yeah.
and then the bell. Oh my God, the
Oh,
gong thing.
yeah. Every time she eats, like every single time.
I was like, dude, oh my God.
I just like that
I
he's like drinking, and then he's like, "Oh, ding," and then he goes back to drinking, and then uh,
it sounds like their species is very annoying, you know?
yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna ask you. I wrote in my notes like, did you at least find the culture stuff like interesting?
No.
No, okay.
I mean, it is interesting because it's, different, but it's like it's very, very annoying.
I can
And
agree.
they're
Yeah, I
like,
can agree.
"Oh, we're very open. We have all naked marriage.
Yeah.
Everyone that comes is naked." It's like, okay. And then the gong thing. Oh,
Blah.
he's giving thanks for the food. Yeah,
Yeah,
because how else would you know? You know, how else would you know you're appreciated?
that's true. That's true. To me, I think
Bad.
I just super love this whole sequence. To be fair,
This sequence is really good. This is probably the best the
she
episode has
tries
to
to.
offer.
She freaks out the mom with like the plant creature thing on her arm, and
Yeah, that she had the whole time.
yeah. I also like Picard. He's like, Commander, can you come here for a second? And he's like, yes, Captain. He walks over and he's like, you're hovering around like a vulture or buzzard or whatever he calls them. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, just really good stuff. I think Data is just really, really great. Kind of get
Yeah,
the
he's really good.
you kind of get the feeling like this is the first time the Enterprise crew is like doing anything like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, super good, super super good.
Yeah, I enjoy the dinner sequence. I thought when Picard called over Data,
Yeah,
he was gonna be like, "Can you like take that gong somewhere else?" Like, can you
can you just like can you break it?
I like how even during all the argument and stuff, like everybody is just kind of like, okay. Like they just kept like sitting there and eating. Like they were just like fine with it.
Yeah,
And then Riker's little tantrum.
in the holodeck.
Yeah. I have to go contemplate this situation. And what he really means is I'm gonna go pout in the desert.
As any heartbroken boyfriend would do.
Yep. Out in the desert.
She does say this kind of weird thing where she's like, "Oh, you human males, you confuse platonic love with physical love,"
Yeah.
and it's like,
So she's implying that she's gonna get married, but also like she's open to like cheating on her husband.
no, 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 no. She's saying that because she has great affection for him doesn't mean that there needs to be a relationship, like a
Oh.
physical romantic relationship.
Well, they imply
Uh,
that they have been together before. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? Like,
Sort of, yeah. I don't, they're so ambiguous about it that you have no idea like how deep their past relationship was.
yeah,
Was it like this with the Wyatt on here where it's just like, that's really nice. He gave me a flower and he talks to me. And it's like, I love him. Or is it like, or did they have like an actual relationship with each other? So
I think, the flower was kind of cool.
the flower was kind of cool.
They didn't use it enough.
No, they
It was
certainly
like
didn't.
it was like white the whole time, and then when her mom was like talking
Yeah.
about the wedding and like comforting it, it turned blue, and it was like, oh, she's not happy about the wedding. It's like, yeah, we know.
Yeah, they basically literally use the flower like they use Troy, which is like, let's state the obvious.
Yeah. I was surprised. So here's the thing that like, Worf's not even in this episode,
No.
but yeah, I thought it was funny that in the very beginning of this episode, she's like, Riker, I need you in the transport room. And he's like, oh my God. And he gets over
Oh,
there and she's like, yes, I'm trying to beam in. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
well, then why didn't you call Worf?
Can't.
Isn't he like second in your security? Isn't he like the main security? Like, I'm very confused.
Oh. No, he doesn't do anything like that. He's not part of
She doesn't
anything.
doesn't call Picard, doesn't
No.
call Worf. She calls number one. And he's like, well, I don't know. Beam it in. Gee, I don't give a crap. Like, oh,
I'm a
God.
bomb and I'm going to explode.
I'm going to blow up the captain. And they're like, the captain's not here. And he's like, oh, boom. Yeah, it's really good.
Fourth commercial break. I thought the Tyrellian ship was pretty cool.
I do think the ship is cool.
Pretty cool.
It's like a big energy ball
Yeah.
with some metal parts around it. I thought was cool.
Yeah. The tractor beam sequences where it shows like the Enterprise dragging it away felt
It's not
strange
great.
for some reason. I don't know if it was like a scale issue or I
It
don't
was
know.
weird. Yeah,
It was weird. Yeah.
it looked strange. It looked like a bad CGI job,
Yeah. I kind of did like though the lady on the planet. I can't remember her name now, but the like electorate lady talking.
Oh
She
yeah.
was like, "Can you help us because we have no defenses and we have a treaty with the Federation that, like you'll help us in these times." I kind of like that just because it shows that not everybody is a part of the Federation of Planets, but like there are planets within the Federation that are basically like agreeable to the Federation, but they're not like a member. They're just
Yeah.
overseen.
I also like to see, a lot of times you just have the Federation come in and they're like, hey, so join us. And they're like, okay. And then like that's it. But to get to see like, hey, so like we joined your thing, so like this is kind of
This is your problem.
this is your problem,
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think it's time for trivia.
Oh, not again.
All right, now you're overacting.
So I thought you would like this. Tracy Torme, the writer of this, also ends up co-creating Sliders.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So he
That's a
was,
good show right there.
yeah, pretty funny. And then, interestingly, this Lan O'Koon apparently, from what I understand, he wrote the episode Lano-kun, and it basically had a lot of the romance parts of it. But then they had Tracy come in and they had him like rewrite it, which is very normal trope of Star Trek. Somebody writes something, they're like, nah, and then somebody else rewrites it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, have the lawyer write it.
yeah, yeah. But the really random thing that I came across was Lano-kun worked as a composer for Barbra Streisand and also had a long collaboration with his sister-in-law, who was entertainer Sherry Lewis, who was the creator of the puppets Lamb Chop, Charlie Horse, and Hush Puppy.
Oh my God.
Super random that this guy who wrote this thing had anything to do with Sherry Lewis. It was pretty funny. Then the other one that'll make
That
you,
is really,
yeah,
really
right?
funny.
Isn't that pretty funny? Then the other thing you'll find I thought you'd like was this is the only Star Trek episode directed by Richard Compton. And Richard Compton had appeared twice as an actor in Star Trek in the original series. And he's in the background of the Doomsday Machine, but this is what will make me happy. He is the Romulan who's in the cloaking device room that Kirk talks to, and he kicks the gun out of his hand.
Yes. Yes.
So that Romulan actor guy went on to direct this episode. So pretty cool.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Hey, you're not supposed to be in here.
Mm.
I heard someone's looking for the cloaking device. He's like, but the cloaking device is right here. Oh, yes. Right where it should be, right? Romulan member?
Yeah.
I forgot about
Right.
that. That's a great episode right there.
Right where it should be.
I never thought, Will, I would miss
TOS.
TOS. Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss TOS because the first season of Next Gen is a real POS. That's good right there.
That's it. That's the cut. That's the clip. Clip it.
You can use that in your thumbnail.
Yeah.
No, it's not. But I do miss the
yeah.
I don't know. There's just a charm. It's just a charm, you know.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And I like these characters a lot. But I don't know.
Yeah, they're not there yet. They're just not there yet.
I don't know. It's just like Spock, McCoy, and Kirk are just a great combo.
Yes.
They're hard to replace.
They in Next Gen they find their footing. It just takes a bit.
Yeah. I don't know.
So this episode was produced earlier in the first season. I think it was like the third thing they filmed.
Oh my God.
Which ends up creating like a really small error in continuity.
Mm-hmm.
So in this episode,
that's why Worf's not in it.
What's that?
That's why Worf's not in it.
Probably. Yeah, very likely, actually, yeah. Deanna Troi says that she hasn't seen her mother in some time, but when we saw last episode in Hide and Q, she was away on Beta Z, like visiting her family.
Oh my God. That's right.
It literally says it, and then this episode, she's like, I haven't seen you. Like, they have this, so it's just because.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's such a throwaway line, though.
It really is. Yes, it really is.
That's really funny.
Yeah. So that was trivia. Okay, so we come back.
Mm-hmm.
This is my contention with the whole episode. I can get past the whole mom Troy thing because whatever, right? She's annoying. Apparently annoying Trek characters don't bother me. Apparently,
yeah, apparently not. Yeah, apparently you enjoy it. You just kind of
like it. I hope. I've always wanted Q and
Taron L. Jones to do something.
Just all of them. I hope they're all on there.
That would be cool.
And the Kazinti who wants mashed. He makes me think of mashed.
He makes me think of vegetables.
So, if you know it, just tell me because I missed it. But if you don't know it, then what the hell? Why
Yeah.
why did Wyatt and Ariana see each other in their minds?
Love. Space love. I don't know. It's so stupid.
Like,
The
okay.
whole they set it up in the very beginning when she's like, "Oh, I thought you would be an artist," and he's like, "Oh no, no, I'm a doctor. I
Right.
sometimes draw this woman I see in my mind since I was a child."
Right.
And she's like, "Oh, that's why you were surprised that I wasn't this blonde bimbo." And he's like, "Yeah." And then they finally make contact with the ship, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's that blonde bimbo I've been seeing my whole life." And she's like, "Wyatt, what's up?" And he's like, "Oh," but he doesn't know her name, but she knows his name. So it's like, were they projecting to him? Like, I don't get it.
They don't even really touch on the fact, unless I missed it, I could have missed it, that they are like telepathic people. I know that they keep saying that he
I think
has
so.
some sort of extra insight that makes him easier to read, whatever that is.
I don't know.
I
I
just
don't know.
kept
But they
waiting for it
also they
at the
also
end.
imply that like everybody on that ship has been seeing him in their dreams.
Right, right,
Right? Not just her. It's like
right.
everybody on the ship's like, "Oh, as soon as we knew you were real and that you were what we've seen in our minds." I was like, why is everybody seeing him?
Yeah, and also, like you
Weird.
said, like they knew his name was Wyatt. They knew it was just like it was this huge thing that culminated, and then it was just like, yeah, see you later. I'm going to live with them. And you're like, why though? Why?
Uh, Because Star Trek.
I
Because Deanna Troy needs to stay on the Enterprise. I don't know. I like at least have them tell you, like, say a line of like, the prophecies were right.
something.
The prophecy has been foretold of a young man with a triangle sweater would save us one day. Like, yay! Here you
I
are,
just
Wyatt. Here you are.
it, it legitimately blew my mind. I was like, what the hell is this? I just
Whatever. Yeah, see. It's really funny to me that like you don't have a problem with annoying characters,
yeah.
but when it comes to like to this stuff, you're like, I don't get it, no idea. And for me, it's the opposite. It's
I
like when a character is really annoying, it's like, why did they write this character so badly?
I
But when
see.
this crap happens in Star Trek, I'm just like, yeah, that makes sense. That checks. Because that's what it always is. Is always some stupid thing in the beginning, and then you get to the end, and it's like, oh wow, we did it. Ooh, go us.
I
All
know.
right, 7 star to the north, 3rd star to the right. Let's warp 2, engage. And it's like, why did that
Right.
happen? It's space. It's it's weird. It's all weird.
I mean,
That's what it is. It's what it always is. So it's like, so the fact that you're surprised every time, you're like, now the story made no sense. Like, it's Star Trek. It never makes any sense.
well, that's the thing. Is like it all makes sense until the end. Like when the end comes, it always just like peters out, and that's what annoys me.
It does. It always does. It always does. It could be so interesting, but it's never
Yeah.
interesting. It could be. It
And
could
I
be. It could,
and I would think that I would find like we've talked about it that I would find Q and Troy's mom like much more annoying, but it's only because of like future stuff.
Yeah.
I don't, to be honest, like future stuff doesn't change mom's Troy's mom for me. Like Lexana doesn't change for
Mom
me.
Troy.
I just I don't know. I just don't.
She is what she is.
Yeah, it just doesn't super bother me.
Do the stories get better? So like, are
No.
you? No, 'cause I just mean like, are you like in this early era of like TOS and now the first season of Next Gen? Are you like, man, these stories just kind of fall apart at the end, which makes me think that like later seasons of this show and Deep Space Nine and Voyager are all like, just tight knit story from beginning to end. There's no like, why did this happen? Why is this a thing?
There's less of it.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Well, that's the thing, because like I've never sat down and done what we're doing, which is like fully review, like sit and like take notes and
Yeah.
like fully review the episode.
And now that you have, you're like, I guess I don't like Star Trek. I guess I don't like this. This is what it is. I don't know. I'm good.
It's just like I think what happens is like episodes like this and a couple other ones. Like I kind of just when I watch them, I just kind of check out and don't really pay attention to the parts that I find interesting. So like the whole Wyatt thing, like I didn't care about. Like
Yeah, I don't care.
I knew Deanna wasn't gonna leave the show.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
this Wyatt guy is nobody. He's just gonna appear in one episode. So it's like I don't pay that much attention to his storyline.
Yeah.
And
He
then
has
I
one
just
throwaway line where he's like, I'm a doctor.
right.
Like, cool. And then that's like justification to the end where he's like, I'm gonna try to save these people. You can't
Right.
stop me. It's like,
Right.
I'm a doctor. Like, okay, cool.
Right. And that's just kind of how I felt. But now like literally like trying to, like
Yeah.
look at it from a television production, but also just like as an episode, as like a piece of writing rather than it being just a show that I'm consuming with characters that I
Yeah.
like. Because the first time I watched the show, like I likely was months old when this came out. I was only like 6 months old when this thing aired. So I didn't start watching. I watched the last 2 seasons as a kid, I think. I think I remember being old enough to have seen the last 2 seasons. But
Yeah.
like I was like you. I was super into Star Wars. Like super into Star Wars. And like when Phantom Menace came out, I was like all over it.
Yeah.
I was all over it. And then I remember like TV would come on and Star Trek Enterprise would come on and my parents would watch it and I would be like, what is this garbage? I don't want to watch this. And I hate it. I didn't watch it.
That's funny.
Because I was like, whatever, too cool for school. I was like
Yeah.
14, 15 years old and you can't like what your parents like.
Who wants to wear a stupid red spandex uniform?
Yeah. And I couldn't have cared less about it. And then time went on, and I forgot what happened. Oh, I know what happened.
You had a traumatic brain injury.
Yeah.
You fell. You were doing some roofing and you fell and you hit your head. And you were in a coma. And when you woke up, you're like,
Star Trek.
Star Trek. I like Star Trek.
Yeah.
The doctor had to tell your parents, like, hey, so he's awake. Everything is fine.
Yeah.
all of his cognitive abilities. The only problem, he just won't stop talking about Star Trek. So clearly there was some sort of brain injury along the way, but we can't find it.
We can't find it.
We don't have senses, so
yeah, exactly. We don't have the technology to find it. I think legitimately what happened was, whatever year, 2006, whatever year Revenge of the Sith came out, I hated that movie.
Yeah,
and then soon after that was 2009's Chris Pine Star Trek movie.
Oh yeah.
And I went to go see it with like the family, and I was like, "Oh, this is not terrible," and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And Next Gen had always been like a childhood show. I watched a couple episodes in reruns, and I had seen the movies, and I had like fun theater experiences when my parents would take me to go.
Oh, okay.
But, like whatever, right?
You saw the movies in theaters,
right? So it was like, yeah, whatever. It's just a fun memory thing. And then Star Trek Into Darkness was coming out, and I was like, you know what I should do is literally watch like everything chronologically. And that's what I did. I did what we do now when we do on the stuff in the nerd holes is like to get ready for a movie.
Yeah.
I'll watch like everything. And that's what I
Yeah.
did. So I watched, 3 seasons of the original series, 2 seasons of animated series, 7 seasons of Next Gen, 7 seasons of Deep Space Nine, 7 of Voyager. I watched all 10 movies and the Chris Pine one again. I watched like everything before it.
That's a lot.
Right. And
for
then,
it to be a movie that like is in completely
and it
separate
wasn't,
universe.
it wasn't that right. It wasn't that good. and I wasn't really that happy with it, and I was just like, cool. But at that point, I was a
Oh
fan
yeah,
of everything. So,
yeah. And
so
then
I
you
think,
have me, who had not watched all the stuff leading up to that movie, and I was like, Benedict Cumberbatch,
right.
awesome.
So
Freaking,
TNG
I
is
still
like
like.
my growing up like family childhood memory show that I remember
Yeah.
watching as a kid, like sitting on the living room floor and like watching an episode of Next Gen.
Yeah.
So it
See,
has like,
my mom would watch whatever was on like TV.
yeah, yeah,
It didn't matter. It would be like, I'd come in and it would be Deep Space Nine, and then, an
right,
hour later I'd come in and it'd be Picard doing stuff, and it was just like, how do you? It just doesn't matter. It just
yeah,
Star Trek was just,
yeah.
everything.
I guess I've only been like a hardcore fan for like 14, 15 years.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad the stories don't get better. That's got me excited.
Yeah, there's big payoffs that end up I think are well worth, like that's why we're doing it. Because otherwise it's just a
Yeah.
fun sci-fi show, but there are some storylines and there are some episodes and there are some things in it that are just I don't know, like
Yeah.
they're very, very good. And
It's funny to me because it's like I know about the Borg
oh yeah, uh-huh.
just from, seeing them as a kid and also like Enterprise episodes.
Yeah.
It's just funny to me that like how this season of this show
Hmm.
gets at some point to that stuff. It's like two very different,
Oh yeah.
completely different things. And it's like, how
Yeah.
do we get to that? That's completely different.
Yeah.
Like, I want that.
It's coming.
It's
It's coming.
coming. It's just funny. It's just funny to me. You would think like a new Star Trek show, people are bummed out that like the original cast is
Yeah.
gone. Just hit them hard right out of the doors. I mean, throw the
Yeah.
Borg at them. Throw,
Yeah. Well, the
their
reality
big thing was like, there's a Klingon on board. Isn't that crazy? And you're like, I don't care.
right. I think the reality of it is Roddenberry like knew how to put stuff on TV. Like he understood how to make shows work and like how to do
Hmm.
stuff. Like he understood that end of it. But he had a very pinhead size idea of what he
Yeah.
wanted for the show. And it's very samey. It's different
Yeah.
people, different ship, different stuff. But at the end of the day, it's basically the same stuff. Somebody comes on the ship, something happens, they react to it, and then it ends with no resolution. It's just ended
No.
with, well, that sucked, or that was funny, or geez, and then that's it.
And the thing that he always wrote was stuff that he was interested in,
Right,
is there a God, or are there just smart alien beings out there? And it
right,
was
right,
like
right, right.
every other episode was about that. And it was
Yeah,
like, dude, you have the
there's stuff.
vastness of space, but yet you're questioning the same three things over and over.
No, I agree. It's not like I am like excited for when he passes away and has less say on the show, but it just sadly the
Yeah.
show dramatically changes after he has less
Mm,
pull.
yeah.
And I think you can agree it's the same with the movies. Like you look at the motion picture and you just watch from the motion picture onward, like the less he's in control of it, the movies generally get better. And the only reason that Final Frontier is terrible is because they basically sent Shatner like out, like they just basically were like, "Yeah, you figure it out," and then he was like, all the stuff he wanted to do either cost too much money or they didn't help him with. So
Yeah. I know that's a bummer. But hey, all the ones Leonard Nimoy did were perfect. So
true.
suck
Well,
on that.
that's because at the end of the day, everyone likes Spock more than Kirk. So
Yeah, even if the Spock movies were bad, it'd be like, can you believe Leonard Nimoy, the genius that he is, wrote this? Isn't this great?
well, that is the end of the review. Got a little off tangent, but that's all right because now we're going to do the thing that everyone's been waiting for. Caleb. 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 All right, Caleb. Who gets the Erica Ortegas Award for being the most unlikable?
That's going to be Deanna's mom. She's
Yeah,
bad.
I wasn't shocked by that one.
No. Mm-mm.
I think to be fair, like even if I took a step back and was like, she doesn't bother me, like who would I say it is? And I think it still would be her. It would be either her or Wyatt's mom. They're both pretty not pleasant, but Troy's mom,
Yeah.
Lexana, definitely takes the cake.
She's pretty bad. I also don't enjoy her black pupils.
Oh,
I don't think we touched on that, but they're just
Oh.
like very creepy.
Yeah. That's how she reads your
You're
mind. Next is the Elizabeth Cutler Award for being the most forgettable.
Worf.
Okay. I read that they were supposed to be in it, and then they just like basically took those scenes and just had other characters play those scenes.
Cool.
Next is the Mugatu Award for being the best alien of the episode.
Yeah, I like Mr. Home. He's cool. It's cool seeing him in Star Trek.
It was.
Lurch. And then the episode
Sure.
ends and he's like, "Thank you very much for your hospitality. I appreciate everything. It's really great." And they're like,
The
he can
giant
talk the whole
huh?
time.
You're right.
Wow,
Yeah.
he's just like us.
Next is the Trip Tucker Award for being the MVP of the episode.
I'm gonna say it's Picard
Ooh, all right.
because he put up with her mom.
He was a real gentleman. He was a real gentleman.
Yeah, he did good. And he didn't have to, because if I was captain, I would have just had security take her to her room.
You would have sucked it up because you're a good captain and you would have appreciated.
I would have said, "What the hell do you want me to do about it?"
Next is the Spock Award for the best line of the episode.
The line that I did enjoy was in the very beginning of the episode.
Mm.
Picard is talking about not legends, but
Oh, uh-huh. Yeah.
what's it called? Like
Like mythology.
yeah. And Data's like, "Oh, yeah. You mean those things that have no reason or are not proven to be real?"
Yes.
And he's like, "Data legends like that have a spice of the universe."
So it's like the planet is supposed to have some sort of mysterious property that it does something, but it still doesn't end up explaining any of the reasons
No.
why Wyatt and Ariana know each other.
No, the planet is supposed to have some sort of like fountain of youth thing, and they never touch on it except for the end when they're like, "Hey, if you guys are showing up to try to like take advantage of this legend that you've heard, it doesn't exist."
It's not real. And he's
And
like,
they're
well, maybe
"Yeah,
we
but
could.
we just want to like live on this planet, like on the furthest peninsula." And they're like, "Okay." And then like, "Hey, just kidding. We got Wyatt. We're leaving."
Yeah, well, an easy one next. Here comes a really easy one. Next is the Shran Award for the best action sequence.
When Mr.
Yes.
has to ding the gong every time she eats.
Yes, yes. I'm so pleased that you said it because that's exactly what I was thinking. So here's the really funny thing is there is one action sequence. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Oh, geez, oh. Wow. Oh, my God.
She's eating fast today.
Yeah, that was great. Quit stuffing your pie hole, women, so I can drink my drink.
Wow. No, there is one action sequence, and it's not really worth talking about, but it's when
when Wyatt
he like
initializes, yeah.
he hypo sprays this transporter chief, and then he gets on the
He
transporter.
injected him straight with polio, which I thought was
Yeah.
a little over the top,
Yeah. But no,
Not Virillion for Ebola.
yeah, exactly.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Oh geez.
Yeah.
That's
pretty
when
good.
all the blood from everywhere else goes inside of your body. It's like the reverse of Ebola. It's like blood doesn't leak out of you. It's like if somebody cuts their hand, like, oh, I cut my hand, like it just sucks into your face, like
Oh. Becomes
I just made that up.
The thing monster, apparently.
Yeah. Take notes, Roddenberry.
Take notes.
I came up with that in 3 seconds.
The thing that I was thinking, just how good that. I'm so happy that you picked him smashing the gong thing. I'm so pleased.
Yeah, it's the best part.
Oh.
That's the most action-packed.
Yeah. Well, next is the NX award for some sweet ship stuff.
I like seeing the holodeck again, but I really enjoy seeing the archway.
Oh, okay,
out of the holodeck. I thought that was cool. I thought my brain was like that would make like a really cool like diorama, and it could be anything. It could just be like anything, and then like in the back corner of the diorama could just be like the arch with all the ship panels and stuff on it.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that. I thought that was cool. And like when the door opens and she comes in,
yeah,
and she comes like from the ship. It was cool. It was just cool to see it from that side of you. But it was also funny to me because it's like, hey, if I'm in using the holodeck, like I don't want just any crew member just to walk in,
Well, I think you can like lock it down. He probably just didn't care.
Yeah. I hope she comes in and talks to me.
Because there are in the future there'll be episodes where it's like, they'll be like, where is so and so? And they'll be like, oh, he's in the holodeck, and then they'll go there. And then they'll go up to the thing and it'll be like, what's running? And they'll be like, oh, this thing is running. And they'll be like, oh, okay. And then they'll wait for them to come out or whatever, It's like this guy's doing like an old train robbery, like he's a cowboy and he's robbing a train. They're like, well, maybe I don't really want to get on the holodeck like right now. I'll wait till him to get off. I'm glad that you liked the arch.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
It was a good surprise. I thought you were going to pick the ship for sure.
No, it's boring.
Yeah.
Boring.
Well, next is the Porthos Award for the cheesiest thing of the episode.
It's definitely Wyatt and his blonde bimbo connecting for no reason.
Somewhere out there.
Beneath the Milky Stone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't disagree. It's
Wyatt goes west.
Terrible. Wyatt goes west and gets diseased. Lastly, and finally, we are at the Enterprise Award for the best scene of the episode.
It's definitely Data at the dinner scene.
I do not disagree.
Yeah. When he's like riveted by how awful people are, he just loves it.
He enjoys how terrible they are to each other, and
yeah, I like that scene a lot.
It's the one thing Gene Roddenberry got right. He knows how to write emotionally distant characters, like characters who don't understand emotions and problems and stuff. Yeah.
That's because he's emotionally distant.
Likely. Well, that concludes the review. So now it's your turn to go down to the comment section and let us know what you thought of the episode. Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you want more of it? Or did you find it a haven from the regular season 1 trope we've been having?
Oh boy. That's a good one.
Next time on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Next week's episode, I hope, is one that Caleb likes.
Oh, God.
Since he commented on what his Sweet Ship Stuff award was. I hope he likes it. This next week episode is The Big Goodbye. Well, that's next week's episode. We look forward to covering that. I think it'll make Caleb pretty happy. But as always, if you liked the episode, like it. If you disliked it, dislike it. Share it with all your friends and family and Trek enthusiasts. Subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and ring that bell so you can watch it as soon as it comes out. And after this video is over, make sure to go over to Caleb's channel. He's got some Mandalorian videos out right now. But in general, he's a fun prop channel. So is there anything, Caleb, you want them to hear about?
I think I just posted episode 9 of my Pokemon series. I've been rolling that out very slowly. It's like I want to print all 151 and make like a little display.
As we can see in your background.
Yes, they're back there. They're right there. Oh, these ones. Yeah, I think I'm at like 43 now. I just did Zubat and Gobat.
Yeah.
And Jiggly and Wiggly. So pretty fun. Pretty fun. And then I uploaded a video on how I made the yellow diometer.
Okay.
But it's like a Geiger counter on a lab coat from Fallout. It's like very specifically only for the lab coat, like Vault-Tec and Robco lab coats have this like radiation diometer. So I made that. So check it out.
Thanks for doing all the fun things down below. Thanks for letting us know your thoughts. We appreciate yet again Ed Mark Starr for being a Patreon member. And we look forward to trekking along.
Trekking across the universe.
All right, Caleb. Send us out.
Computer, end romantic sad desert environment.
See you guys.
I like Deanna.
Mm.